the Earth is warming more than the normal. Now we're talking of an average of 1.5 degrees above normal. Let's say your normal temperature, just in a layman's language, let's say the normal temperature here is about 25 degrees, right? Of course it varies. Yeah? Today maybe it's 10 degrees, the next moment it's 23, 28, but on average let's say it's 25. So what it means that if it goes up by 1.5, it means your average is no longer 25. It's now 26.5. That's your average. So on average, the Earth is warming up due to these greenhouse gas emissions. Because what does it do? Simple terms, the radiation, from the sun, the rays come through right onto the Earth, and they are supposed to be reflected back where they've come from. But because there's that blanket of these gases, carbon dioxide and others, so these rays are not able to escape out into the atmosphere. So they start bouncing up and down within the Earth, within the atmosphere of the Earth. So then it causes that warming. That's the global warming that they talk about. Net zero, it means that you're in an environment where whatever you're producing, you are absorbing. So there's zero emission, right? Okay, let's say you have got a coal power plant. It emits carbon dioxide and other emissions. Then you capture them. So that plant, when you ring fence within the boundaries of that power plant, you are not emitting anything outside. So whatever gas that is produced by that power plant, captured and stored within the power plant. There are technologies that are used to do that. Carbon capture and storage is a new field. It's a field on its own. There are different technologies that are used to do that. Some of them are chemical, others are essentially capture and then store it in a pit, like a mine, an old disused mine. Then they seal that mine so that the carbon remains there. Others are done even at farm level, where you can then go into biochar, that is used then to help the soils because that carbon is essential for the nutrition of the soil or conditioning of the soil. If you look at the so-called just transition, I'm saying so-called because it means different things to different people, right? But if you look at just energy transition, we're saying we're moving away from extensive exposure and utilization of coal and gas, coal resources mainly, and maybe diesel, to more cleaner fuels, right? And in this transition, we are saying for it to be just, it means everybody needs to be involved, to be part and parcel of that movement. It's not only confined to the elite. So with that in mind, it means that evaluate the value chain and say, okay, if we are to adopt renewables, let's say, for example, solar technologies, we put a power plant of solar technologies. We say, okay, what is required to put up this power plant? It's the panels, the structures, the structures, it's the transportation, it's a lot of things. So people need to have a role along that value chain so that we are not just importers of equipment. We import both the panels, but also at the same time import the labor that does the installation, and then also import also ancillary equipment. There are a lot of things that we can do locally. So this is an opportunity, right? A study that was done by the International Energy Agency pointed to, one, the number of components that are required, let's say, in a power plant, in terms of kilograms, in terms of the elements in kilograms. So let's say in a coal power plant, you probably need coal being the primary component or element, but you also need steel, right? But let's say if you look at wind turbines, photovoltaics, there are quite a number of other minerals that are required that you need to put in place. So those minerals, what is the role that we can play in supplying those minerals in that just energy transition? Similarly, you look at electric vehicles, for example. there are many minerals that are required as inputs into the electric vehicles. So what is it that we can play in that value chain? But someone will say, for me, it's moving from coal to gas, and then maybe to renewables. And the time frame is also another factor that needs to be considered. So just transition one person means it has to be done now. But others say it's a migration, it's a process. It might take 5, 10, 15, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, right? So that's why it differs from context to context. So for someone, it might mean jobs. If you're saying just energy transition, it means I need jobs in that process, right? For others, it means I'm just completely replacing and putting in new technologies. So, but for a youthful person out there, it means that they'll be able to get jobs, they'll be able to get income from that migration.